That was the Rolling Stones, Hands of Fate. Then we had Joe Walsh in the City. And in the studio is my mate, Shepard Fairey.
Hey, Steve.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
You never listen.
I did listen the other day when you were doing the airplane thing, and you couldn't even remember the songs you played. So that's what I get for listening.
But I remember I called you last week, and you were in your car, and I'm like, you don't have the radio on, and you're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. I
caught you.
You did. You caught me not listening.
I don't expect everyone to be listening, but it's all good. I know you're a fan.
I am.
And
I I'm past my punk rock orthodoxy phase, so I can acknowledge that I absolutely love good rock and roll of every era. So
yeah.
What one would term maybe classic rock.
Exactly. although we never will be put in that bag.
Good.
As classic rock.
It's not your bag, baby.
I never hear it. Do you ever hear the Sex Pistols on the radio, other than me playing it?
On satellite radio. But that's it. I mean, to me, that's...
We never have had airplay. Never have we had airplay.
And yet
we're legends.
You knocked Rod Stewart, your hero, off the charts, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, kill your idols. I like it.
In England, yeah, that was a fast by the government when God Save the Queen. Should have been #1, but it was too embarrassing for the powers that be. It was too much of a slap in the face.
Well,
it just shows you, though, governments, they can pull strings.
They can. And in the UK, it was government-run radio.
Yeah,
right?
BBC.
So, yeah.
For sure, it was government.
I mean, I trust the BBC for news, but maybe not for music.
Yeah. Well, I think it's all changed then. Now. Well, it ain't changed. It's all the same. Same old stuff. So I went and saw your documentary Tuesday at the Ace Hotel.
Yeah, I Obey Giant that Hulu produced along with Elysium Bandini and directed by James Moll. That was the exclusive screening, maybe the only big screening, but it was a cool event to have you there and a bunch of Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo, a lot of great LL Cool J, a lot of good people were there. And
who was the big dude? Was he a football player?
Oh, you're thinking of that was LL Cool J or Terry Crews. Oh, it was the other black guy?
The big one. He was way bigger than that. Was he a football player?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe he was. I mean, there were 1,600 people there.
You were hugging him and getting your picture taken with him.
No, that was LL Cool J and Terry Crews. Those are the guys that I was hanging out with there. Mm. So Terry Crews did used to be a football player, but he's the one that played President Camacho in the movie Idiocracy, and he's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine now. But amazing guy, really awesome guy. He was a football player, but he went to art school. He's one of these guys
that's odd.
Yeah, it is odd. He just wanted to paint and be sweet, but he was built like a football player, so he had to go with his strengths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. Yeah, very. I was impressed at what a big fanfare it was. Because I thought, I'm just going to walk in. And I parked my car, one of them $10 deals, and I walked down the street, and I saw this big line. I'm like, that can't possibly be for Shepard. And then, and I'm like, it is. I better be nicer to him.
Yeah, I mean, art's usually for the unattractive, nerdy people who can't get invited to the cool parties. But I'm trying to change all that.
Oh man,
I've just stuck around so long that I think I've won the war of attrition. If you can't beat them, join them. I just Stockholm syndrome. That's how I'm keeping my audience captive.
It's great, though. It was great. And it was such a great documentary. I'm not just saying that. I love watching documentaries. It's one of my favourite things to do. But it was great from start to finish. There was no bore time. It was all, boom, boom, boom. And it has so many things with you and the missus, like a love story in it too, And then there's am I giving the bag away?
No, go ahead. I mean... I think
you've got to see it. You've got to see it. It's going to be on Hulu.
Yeah, on Saturday. It's the 11th. It'll be available on Hulu and for streaming. It's not too expensive. get Hulu, and then you get the Handmaid's Tale and all the other great stuff they're doing too. So, they're putting out some good content. But I was just to give you a little bit of credit, I was really really honored and flattered that you helped to push the use of the Sex Pistols version of My Way in the film.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the closing sequence of the film, and that meant a lot to me because that the Sex Pistols were a band that kind of changed my life. I mean, did change my life. I grew up in South Carolina. There wasn't a lot of cool stuff happening, and the Sex Pistols were like the soundtrack to my self-discovery and rebellion.
Yeah.
So
well, you actually say that in there.
Yeah, I do.
It's not news.
I mean, I did that preemptively knowing that I'd want to butter you up and get that song. So you fell into my plan.
You got it. You got it. Yeah, it was hard work to get that, but I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, thank you.
In the end. Now the director, Mole.
Yeah, James Mole.
James Mole. He won an Academy. Well, another documentary?
Yeah, he did a film called Last Days about the end of the Holocaust, and it was executive produced by the guy that did Schindler's List. You might have heard of him. Pretty big director.
Oh, Quinn Martin.
Yeah, Quinn really backed that one. So, I mean, James is a Spielberg, but James is a really thorough guy, but he's not. I didn't know whether he was really getting my story until I saw a rough cut of the film. He did a lot of interviews with me, with friends, went through hundreds of hours of archival footage, and I wasn't convinced that he was going to put something together that I felt was the right representation of me. But I think he did a really good job, and he got into some of the emotional sides of things that a lot of docs don't dip into. It's things that are a little more maybe academic or clinical, and I think that this has got a real humanity to it. So I was very happy about that.
Yeah, I never got a phone call to be interviewed for it. But, it's all good.
Well, I wasn't the one dictating that. You would have been the whole film, Steve. So, it's lucky I wasn't able to do that.
Now, you a fan of the Modern Lovers?
Huge fan of the Modern Lovers. Jonathan Richman's band before people knew him from There's Something About Mary. And, which I didn't realize till later. I knew that I discovered the Modern Lovers because you guys covered Roadrunner. Yeah.
But he was way ahead of the game, and no one knew this. He was like around in '72, right, when that stuff first started coming out.
First Modern Lovers record was recorded in '72, but not released until '76 because no one wanted to release it. And then Jerry Harrison ended up going from that band to the Talking Heads, and then David Robinson from that band to the Cars. So the talent was there, but it never really. I think got the credit it deserved as its singular project, the Modern Lovers.
Absolutely. Did you bring your frog? Let's play it. We're here with Shepard Fairey. You're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS. Here's the Modern Lovers. She's Cracked. On KLOS. That was The Damned. Born to Kill from their first album. Damn, Damn, Damn. Bad Brains, banned in D.C. Was you ever banned in D.C., Shepard?
I've been banned in Boston, but
close.
Yeah, I've been. I've run from the law in D.C., but not been banned.
That was one of the great bits in your documentary. Was the Boston bit, with that big oaf cop who was just. It's so funny, that scene, to me. I was laughing.
Yeah, I mean I guess everybody's got to find meaning in life, and the meaning he found was throwing artists and graffiti writers in jail. But man, he took it very, very seriously, and
it's hilarious that you got that stuff on film.
Yeah, his interview with
the best.
With a guy talking about should I call you the graffiti guru? And like you could use that moniker, but maybe something else. It's amazing.
Oh, it's so good, so good. And we had Stooges, TVI, from the album Funhouse, and Modern Lovers, She's Cracked. Gorgeous. That was a bunch of punk rock we just played.
Yeah, thanks for playing that for me.
See what I do for you, man? Jesus. So, you got a big show Saturday.
Yeah. So speaking of punk rock, it's the biggest art show of my career, and it's called Damaged, which is both my take on what's going on in politics, media, other than KLOS, of course. Human rights, treatment of the environment, and but it's also an homage to the 1981 Black Flag album Damaged that was very influential for me. And I did a newspaper called the Damaged Times, printed 50,000 copies. Henry Rollins, who was the singer on the Damaged album, wrote an essay, as well as a lot of other great people, Naomi Klein, David DeGraw, Victoria Yarnish.
Is he coming Saturday?
No, he's out on the road.
Doing his talking?
Yeah, he's doing. I mean, that guy stays busier than anyone. It's
he
ridiculous.
has more energy than you.
Yeah, he does. That's sort of the highest level of not wasting time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know if he really enjoys life the way
Doing
most
nothing?
people would say is how to enjoy life. I think he just is very, very focused. I guess it's his therapy. It's art is my therapy. I get it. But there is going to be music at the Damage show on Saturday. This band, The Shrine, who are younger but love Black Flag, Black Sabbath, they're going to be performing with Keith Morris, the original singer of Black Flag, who is now in Off and was for years in the Circle Jerks. They're going to be doing some Black Flag covers, so that's going to be pretty great. Have a musical component. I mean, you've performed at one of my art shows before, and you were there when we did the Bad Brains ensemble.
Yeah.
Thing. So that having music with the art is really important to me.
I played there with Billy Idol and who else was it?
Clem Burke.
And the bloke from Bow Wow Wow.
Yeah, Lee Gorman.
Who couldn't remember anything. But it still sounded good.
It did.
I was good anyway.
You were great.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was a pretty amazing thing. I mean, Billy Idol takes it seriously. He did you guys did, the Stooges songs, Sex Pistols songs, Generation X, Billy Idol, Velvet Underground.
Yeah.
And, that was kind of a lot of material to get right in a couple days practice.
I do it just for you.
Yeah, I think you can find it online somewhere.
So this new spot, it's on YouTube. There's bits of it, people with cameras. This new spot is where?
So
for Saturday.
Normally, I would do my shows maybe at our gallery, Subliminal Projects, but this is at a space in Chinatown at 1650 Naud Street, Naud, and it's a huge warehouse. I filled up 17,000 square feet with my art. I've got sculptures, billboard installation, huge mural, 230 smaller pieces, paintings, stencils, and I'm going to be giving away free prints too. There's going to be a letterpress machine, printing press running, and you can just come and take a print right off the press. But don't ask me to sign it.
Okay.
Because I'm going to be too busy with other stuff. If you get it free, then you don't get a signature. You can get it cheap with a signature next door in the Consume Here section.
So the paper's free, but the signature is what costs them. Hey, that's what all big shots do.
Well, I think the art is way more important than my signature. It's maybe just less eBayable without my signature.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier about Andy Warhol that the Alice Cooper got a canvas off him, or acquired a canvas from Andy Warhol, like back in the day. He folded it up, put it away for 30 years. Apparently, this is the story. He gets it out. It's valued at like 18 million thing, but then they realise it's not signed, so it's worth 18 cents. But that's the whole thing, right? With art, people want the signature.
They do. That's the authentication, I guess. And I'm a big believer in if it's a strong image, it shouldn't be about it being a trophy. But I still get that people want to feel like it's got the artist's hand in it, and and so a signature is one way to, I guess, make that feel that artist connection is there.
Yeah. You ever see Banksy anymore? Is he still doing it?
Oh yeah, he's definitely still doing it, but I haven't seen him in a while. He's very reclusive, but he's a great thinker. He's doing stuff. He's super secretive, and in a culture of celebrity, it's pretty refreshing that he's just letting the art do the talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. I had
He would never lower himself to be on a program like this.
well, he was gonna come on before over at the other place.
I know,
on
and
Indie.
that was because he loves the Sex Pistols, and I told him like, "Hey, Steve wants you on," and he was about to do it, but then there was so much attention on his show that he got really paranoid that if he went there and was on the air, that
Get
people
uncovered.
people would reveal his identity. They would snap photos of him on the way in or out, and that would be that.
Yeah,
So
he's good, man. He's got a good brain.
he does.
He makes you think. He's
Yep.
one of them guys, and he's an original. I don't think he just is that guy. I love his stuff. What else was I going to say? You got other artists? I noticed on the email that I got. Is there other artists in this show Saturday?
No,
What did I get then? Something else then. There's the gold emu. What was that?
Well, that was for a show that we did last weekend at our gallery, Subliminal Projects in Echo Park, and that was I did some collaborations with the Jim Marshall estate, all based around his photographs of the peace sign between '62 and '69.
Yeah.
And then some other artists submitted pieces with the peace sign theme, and it's a great show. So anyone that
That's at
wants
your
to see that
place.
show, that's at our place. Oh, and by the way, anyone who wants to go to the Damage show needs to RSVP. The information is at obeygiant.com.
And there's go on.
Yeah, and so
Ain't there a VIP one and then the punters afterwards?
yeah, it starts at 8:00. If you don't know me, then you're not going to be on the VIP list. But you can get in, and yeah, I hope to see you there. There's going to be free stuff, music, and a lot of art.
Yeah. Who is the dude who did the statue, the emu gold plated peace sign? Am I putting you on the spot?
Yeah, you are, because I can't. All those pieces were by submission, and I met him at the show, but I just liked the piece, and I
Yeah.
didn't know him prior to that. But that's one of the things we try to do with our gallery is, if you go to the Subliminal Projects website, his name will be listed next to the piece. I'm actually considering buying that piece if it doesn't sell to someone
Well, that's
else.
what I was going to say.
Okay, you were going to say you buy it and then give it to me, for having.
for birthday,
Yeah.
Christmas.
I know how you roll. But yeah, we do the gallery largely to give opportunities to emerging artists. It's
Yeah.
I just don't think. I think the art world is challenging for people, and it's better for there to be not just opportunities for the people that are already in the blue chip zone. And,
Yeah.
You know how.
Do you remember the girl that
Philosophy.
I consigned? She did a thing at your show, and I got the Space Oddity 2001.
Yeah.
Do you remember that girl? What was her name?
That was Louise Bonet, and she did the room from
you had
Kubrick's 2001: A Space.
where he's wearing the red spacesuit.
Yeah, it's a great piece, and she did a few pieces from different Kubrick films. She had a great one from The Shining that she did, but her style is I think
Is she moving up in the world?
she's continued to do shows, but I think maybe she's not enough of a go-getter. That's the problem. Is everything's about personality now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you got to cultivate your social media following. I mean, I'll pander. I'll do
I know.
anything it takes. But other people have they got principles.
You gotta hustle, man. You gotta hustle if you want to get on.
I'm desperate. They're not so desperate.
It's okay. Let's play the Radio Stars. I believe you haven't heard this track. It's called
No, I haven't.
No Russians in Russia. This was like Johnny Come Lately punk band, but it's good. It's really good. We're here with Shepard Fairey on Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS. Shepard Fairey. That was the Sex Pistols. Holidays in the Sun that he made me play. And we had the Sparks, Amateur Hour. Then we had Radio Stars, No Russians in Russia. Did you like that one? The No Russians in Russia?
Yeah, I did. It's great. I mean, it's immediate. It's infectious, but it's also got some grit to it.
Yeah,
which,
yeah. Meat and potatoes.
Sweet spot, man. Yeah.
Meat and
it's good.
potatoes.
Thank you for introducing me to that.
Oh, you're welcome. Just one other thing that I do for you. So, the Holidays in the Sun, you were just saying about you loved that album from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, never mind the bollocks. There's the Sex Pistols. I think it's a flawless album as far as my tastes go. But it's also, I mean, it's a paradigm shifting album. But for me, not knowing anything about even the word paradigm at age 14,
Yeah, I still don't know what
the
it means.
musical landscape. It's the structure of the dominant system is a paradigm. But anyway,
What does it mean, paradigm? A
what
pair of dimes?
yeah, 20 cents. That's what it means. 20 cents US, mate.
Oh, right, yeah. Tuppence.
When I was growing up in Charleston, South Carolina, my friend said, "Listen to this record. The boots come in, the drum beat, the first guitar chord. My arm hair stood up, and I knew that it was the piece of the puzzle of my life that had been missing, and that became the soundtrack to my evolution." So thank you for that.
What would you have done just like after the guitar bit and the boot stopped and it went into like kind of air supply? Would you change your mind?
Yes, I would have. I would have said, can someone tell that band to please just do what they did the first 10 seconds for longer?
Yeah.
And write a whole album with that. But you guys had already done it, so that saved me trouble.
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you.
Let's bring this ship into the shore. Yeah. Throw away the oars forever.
See, you can sing.
Not really.
So my album that I would take with me is The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust. To me, that's a flawless album.
Wait, who's that by?
Quinn Martin's brother.
Yeah. David Bowie. That is a flawless record. And I mean, that was a big record for you in your evolution.
Absolutely.
That was your version of the Bollocks, right?
Absolutely. That and first
New York Dolls, right?
Dolls and the Roxy Music album.
Right. Yeah, Virginia Plain, all that.
And like the punk scene later, a lot of punk bands they do that beat. We just thought we were playing like David Bowie or Roxy Music or the Faces. That's the tempo me and Cookie naturally just went to, obviously with a bit more angst and anger and whatever you want to call it. But
yeah, I mean, a song like Submission is not a fast song at all. There are some fast songs, but it's not. It's digestible.
Yeah,
and I think that's important.
So you was a fan of all that other stuff, the West Coast kind of punk like Fear and Dead Kennedys and
because I'm a little bit younger, so I discovered the Stooges and the Modern Lovers and things like that because of the bands that covered them, and the Sex Pistols being one of them. But I was into Black Flag, Bad Brains. The skateboarding was the thing I was doing, and the sort of adrenaline that goes with skateboarding, really fast music is good for that. But I've broadened my musical horizons since then. But there was from about 84 to 86, 87, I was like, if it's not mean and tough and fast, then you can't hang with me, and I can't hang with it. So
yeah. It's funny when you get older, isn't it? That you do change musically. I found, from when I was 20. I think also when you're that age, you want people to look at you a certain way. I think that has a play in it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
as opposed to when you're 60, you're just like, I don't care what you think. I like this track. And that's all there is to it.
I felt like I was such a rebel, yet I was conforming to what I thought was the right image for me. So it's how contradictory. It's embarrassing, but it's just honest. I mean, I think every teenager goes through that.
Absolutely, and some people would stay with it till the day they die. That facade.
What would be the thing that I would say now that would make me look cooler?
Oh man.
Whatever. I agree with Steve. Whatever Steve says.
Yeah, he's the best.
Yeah.
He knows.
So what do you want to listen to off of Ziggy Stardust?
Well, we're gonna play another track that you've picked first.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Yeah, remember? You forgot.
Oh yeah, we're gonna play The Clash.
That's right.
Should I stay or should I go?
Yeah, you're listening to Jonesy's Jukebox on KLOS with my guest Shepard Fairey. On KLOS, that was Led Zeppelin, Communication Breakdown. And we had the Horrible Who, Substitute, live at Leeds. Then David Bowie, Suffragette City, from the album Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust, and The Clash, Should I Stay or Should I Go? All picked by my guest, Shepard Fairey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of all those songs, but also I realize your ratings might be slipping with all the punk rock we played in the first bit. So, I'm just doing damage control here.
Yeah, thank you. You're mopping up. You're mopping it up. Led Zeppelin. You're a fan of them.
Huge fan, yeah.
Didn't you do some artwork?
I did. I did the Greatest Hits, the Mothership album package.
Yeah.
And then I did the Celebration Day album package, which was the live record they did from the 2007 show when they reunited briefly, and everyone hoped there would be a big tour, but there wasn't. But I mean, that's
How did that come about?
surreal. It's surreal to get to do that stuff. Well, the funny thing about the Mothership from 2007 was I'd done some stuff with Metallica, and Metallica's management knew me, and they also worked with Led Zeppelin. So apparently all the surviving members of Led Zeppelin had different ideas about how the Greatest Hits package should work. Each person got a shot at sort of bringing their idea to life, and then the other two didn't like it. And so finally, with a week until they were supposed to have final artwork, the Q Prime Metallica management guys reached out and said, "Hey, do you want to submit some stuff?" And I did a couple things as quickly as I could. I thought just as sketches, and they chose the sketch for the one with the theater with the searchlights, which was loosely inspired by the gatefold from Led Zeppelin 2. With a band like that, you gotta keep it in the iconography wheelhouse that people know from the band. But then they said, "It's done. That's the cover. Just design the rest of the package." And wow, that was about as painless as it gets.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
And didn't you do a Black Sabbath one too?
Yeah, I just did the 10-Year War vinyl box set for Black Sabbath, and the 10-Year War is a reference to the Ozzy years. They were always battling with the press. The critics didn't like them, and so I've done some posters for their different tours, for Black Sabbath's tours, and one of the posters and T-shirt designs that I did for the End tour, they got such good feedback on that they said, we'd like to use one of those images as the cover, and then once again you just design the rest of the package. But Black Sabbath's one of my all-time favorite bands, so it's very humbling and surreal to get to do stuff for people who I think have just contributed so much to my life and to the music that everyone knows is part of the culture now. It's just like reference points, fixtures.
Yeah. Big day Saturday.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Oh, I'm doing an art show called Damaged, and it's downtown in Chinatown, 17,000 square foot warehouse space. It's where street meets elite.
Where street meets elite.
It's pump your fist or wine and cheese pinky out, whatever you choose. Whatever is your bag, baby. And it's at 1650 Naud Street, N-A-U-D. But you have to RSVP through my website, obeygiant.com. But yeah, the show's called Damaged. It's my look at all sorts of different things that are damaged right now, political things. But there's a sense of humor. There's pretty pictures. I think there's if you like art, come check it out.
There's also simultaneously on Hulu is the release of your wonderful documentary about you.
Yep, which is also very creatively titled Obey Giant.
Well done.
Repetition works.
Did that
I've told you a million times.
Was that all sitting in a boardroom thinking of what to call it?
Yeah. Well, I guess if anybody's going to just Google things related to me, that might be something, and it would pop up. So really it was just crass commercialism. That was all it was. That's what I'm about. So
you're just about making.
But it's
money.
on Hulu.
You don't
Story
care
of my
about
life.
Anybody? It's about making bread.
But by the way, speaking of not caring about anyone, money from the sale of prints and paintings are going to different organizations that relate to the content of the work. So I'm doing stuff with the ACLU, the Natural Resources Defense Council, the NRDC, Black Lives Matter, the Amplifier Foundation. So you could. If you support the show, you might be supporting good causes. If you're, if you are part of, someone else's agenda that's in the White House right now, maybe it's not for you. But in LA, I think I'm safe. I think I'm safe with for the most part.
Yeah.
The people, we're in a bubble. We're in a bubble of, I guess a little mostly progressive situation. To me, progressivism is just not being a complete idiot, having an open mind, and not being selfish. That's your politics are going to shake out as progressive that way. But for any Bob Seger fans that are listening that don't agree, sorry, he's not all bad, Bob Seger. You guys play him, right?
We're going to play him now. Rambling, Gambling Man. But before we do that, you picked this, Jimi Hendrix, Fire.
Yeah.
Have you ever done any of his artwork?
No, I did make.
You have something. I've seen something.
Yeah, I've made some portraits of him, and I did a thing for Gibson guitars because he played a Flying V now and then. He played Fender and Gibson.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, he's a guitar hero, so everybody's going to try to claim him. He might have touched a Rickenbacker at one point, right? Did they do something with him?
Who knows?
But yeah, so I've done some official things and then some unofficial things. That Jim Marshall shot some great photos of him. So the 1968 Rolling Stone cover of Hendrix was shot by Jim Marshall. So I'm friends with the people who run his estate. So I was able to do a really great Hendrix based on a Jim Marshall photo. And that's the thing about people who are no longer alive is I can't shoot my own photo, so I got to figure out a way to make it happen.
You're no good as a photographer.
I'm saying if Hendrix were alive, I would. I almost majored in photography. I shoot a lot of my own photos as references for my illustrations, but I also collaborate with photographers. Photography, a lot of it is art. I think it deserves to be considered art.
Yeah. We're going to talk to you. Do we have that song, Rambling Gambling Man? This is
my punishment.
This is it. I actually like this. I think this is a.
No, I like
this. Is when it was Bob Seger's system.
Right.
This was his first deal.
I like some of his stuff.
Now you're mopping up yourself.
No. I'm talking about his blue collar audience. That's maybe not the most open minded, but salt of the earth, man.
Oh, man, killing me. Jonesy's Jukebox, KLOS, with my guest Shepard Fairey. There's Bob Seger and his system. People in America, is it common to get? Is your type 1 or type 2?
Type 1.
And do a lot of people have that?
Well, yeah. I don't know the exact statistics. A lot more people have type 2, which just means that you're usually your body's less efficient because you're older, maybe not in shape, and then your body's not producing enough insulin to keep your blood sugars down relative to what you're eating. And there are a lot of complications that can come from that. Poor circulation, which means your eyesight can go. You have toes, fingers amputated. So yeah, if you're diabetic out there, please take care of yourself, because I've had 2 eye surgeries as a result of my diabetes, and that really made me more rigorous about it, because I felt when I was younger I felt pretty indestructible. And
you didn't take the medication?
Well, I took the medication, but I didn't check my blood sugar enough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's a nightmare that you have to shoot up. You have to do it what?
Yeah, well, I have an insulin pump now that's giving me insulin constantly, but that's always been a problem if I'm momentarily detained for some of my street art activities.
Which is in the documentary.
Yeah. The police will take my insulin away and then
punch you in the face.
Yeah, I've got one tattoo on my whole body, and it just says diabetic, and it's because when you're booked in, fingerprinted, they take note of all your tattoos. So if I were to ever die in jail, they can't say they didn't know, because it's right there. He's got a diabetic tattoo.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I think I'm diabetic too, but I got the other one, where I just eat too much sugar and I don't work out and I'm fat. That's the one I got. But my one of my toes is becoming numb.
Really? Well, I mean, you should do everything you can, because
I am. I'm eating more.
I mean, yeah. I mean, birth is a death sentence, but you can do some things along the way.
I think it's cool to have 4 toes, like a fish.
Yeah, I have a bent pinky, which has nothing to do with my diabetes. These are all great things for radio, right?
Yeah.
Hey, check out my bent pinky.
Well, it's numb, that little finger?
No, it's not. It's just I had a wart when I was 2 years old, and they took it off with acid, and the acid got down to the bone and made it soft, and it bent, but it still works fine. My parents, I think, when I was 5, and they thought maybe I was, I was becoming narcissistic enough to have an issue with it. They said, "Oh, we can break it and move it. I said, I don't really care. Just leave it. So it's been there. That's my.
Did you get that off of Walt Disney?
Did he have a bent finger?
You said a Walt. You had a Walt. I said Walt Disney.
Oh, Walt Disney. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah,
It was so funny.
That was an English pronunciation joke. I don't know nothing.
We're going to visit the Duke. We'll be back in a little bit with my guest, Shepard Fairey, KLOS. With my guest, Shepard Fairey. What do you call yourself? Like an artist? Urban artist? What's your description?
Yeah, I guess artist is fair enough. I mean, I'm a graphic designer,
artist?
Street artist. Yeah.
In one word, though, what would be the best word?
Artist. I mean, I do some activism too, but as soon as you say activist, then you're never doing enough for everybody else. So artists are allowed to be totally selfish. So I'll just stick with that. It's easier.
You're an artist.
Way more convenient.
Shepard Fairey, the artist, the self-absorbed artist. So we had the Ramones, Judy as a punk, Roxy Music, Spent the Day in Bed. What's that called? And then we had Morrissey, Spent the Day in Bed. So we had two songs that were called Spent the Day in Bed. One of them was Roxy Music, and the other one was Morrissey. Did you know that?
Well, I just learned that, but I imagine that Roxy Music must have been one of Morrissey's favorites because he also loved New York Dolls, Bowie, Stooges. I mean, it's all of that glam.
Had to have been
glam punk sort of.
He was there.
Yeah.
Bowie, I'm sure. Roxy Music.
Yeah.
Slade. You know, who else? Did you ever get into Bebop Deluxe?
No, I don't know them. I love the Sweet though. You know I love the Sweet. Desolation Boulevard, masterpiece album.
That was the one they did in America. Did you know that?
Mike Chapman produced it, who did Blondie and
The Knack.
The Knack, Tony Basil, whatever. But catchy stuff, really catchy stuff.
He was a pop connoisseur.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ballroom Blitz is great, but that whole record is great. There's some tough songs on that record. But no, I guess I would throw Queen into the glam category too, right? But I love early. I mean, I love Queen's whole catalog, really.
There was two kinds of glam coming from England when I was a teenager and top of the pops. There was the two-bob glam, and then there was the sophisticated glam. Like Roxy Music, Bowie, Queen.
Gary Glitter was on the two-bob side.
He was on the two-bob side with Sweet and Slade.
Right. Yeah.
They got put into that bag, and there was some knockoff, even worse ones than that. But that's
Shang-a-Lang.
The Basic Rollers. I wouldn't say they were glam, no, but it was in that same bag. It was all that stuff. But it was a great time back then. It was carefree and innocent, and it was fun when you were 14 years old to see all that coming from a grimy dump in London, which was what it was like at the time, to have these bands that look glamorous and with strong beats and stuff. It was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the the idea that there was some other version of yourself that you could cultivate. It was escapism, but imaginative escapism.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that when people become jaded and stop dreaming and imagining, then I mean life's over as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, listen.
I mean,
man,
you crossed that bridge a long time ago, but
I know. Listen, let's give yourself a plug again. What's happening Saturday?
I'm doing my biggest art show ever, Damaged, downtown L.A., Chinatown at 1650 Naud Street, N-A-U-D. And you got to RSVP at my website, obeygiant.com. But there's going to be music. I'll be DJing. The Shrine's going to be playing with Keith Morris from Black Flag and the Circle Jerks, some hip-hop, a younger band called The Fever, trademarks the hip-hop group. And then, a lot of my art. And I'm giving away some prints. So you don't have to be rich. You just have to be motivated.
And on Hulu?
Hulu, Silicon Valley.
Hulu,
yeah.
Who knew?
I think Hulu was their Google and Hulu hybrid. Yeah. Hulu, the documentary about me called Obey Giant.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah, Steve saw it.
It really
on
is
Tuesday.
Great. Definitely worth seeing.
That's going to be available for streaming on Saturday through Hulu, the Saturday the 11th.
Well, thanks for coming by.
Oh yeah, thanks for having
Always
me.
a pleasure. I'll see you Saturday. What you got there?
Yeah, we have a pair of tickets for Liam Gallagher to give away. KLOS and Jonesy's Jukebox welcomes Liam Gallagher to the Wiltern on November 14th. The tickets are on sale, but we have a pair for caller 20 at 800-955-KLOS, furnished by Live Nation.
We'll be back tomorrow. Gary Moore's up next. We'll be back at 12 bells tomorrow. We're going to play a bit of Alice Cooper, 18. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
See you later.